in here, and I am going to knock that off. Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for coming over and hanging out.
Of course.
So Claudia Rose is a local artist here in St. Louis. I first met her when I was working at the Jam out at the Diamond Music Hall, which tonight is Jam night out there, right?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I've got a show there.
What?
Thursday. Well, I'm opening for
Do
someone.
you need a bass player?
Yeah, I do actually.
Awesome. So I've heard you have this real loose. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm playing the bass. So I got some work to do after tonight. We had a rehearsal here last night, so that was pretty fun, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That was
I had
cool.
A good time.
So Claudia's played around the area. She plays around at some of the wineries in the area. What's the furthest place you've been out?
Oh gosh.
Away from here.
Probably. I know I've played out in like Illinois a couple of times.
Cool.
But I think that's like the farthest out I've gotten.
Wow.
As of right now. Hopefully, I'll be getting farther out there.
Well, I know you will. I mean, that's just a matter of time, right?
Yeah.
Right? And a matter of all the license, right? Driver's license, getting out there, loading your own gear. So your dad does a lot of work with you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Doing a lot of photos, doing a lot of stuff. Let's hone in on this then. I asked Claudia to come by because I've really enjoyed listening to her play at our jams and playing along with her at our jams. So it's been a blast. It's been a lot of fun. And I love to have our local artists right here. And it's really cool. And this Thursday night, we're going to be playing an opening gig. Who's the main?
Bold as Love, Mike Matthews, Jimi Hendrix tribute band.
Mike Matthews is amazing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Amazing. Last week, I was going to have a show on Thursday night, and it got canceled 2 hours ahead. For my guest, it did, but that's not what happens here. Here at Hammer Away, as we did last week, one of my favorite lines out of a movie called FM. And I'm sorry, this young lady's going to have to hear this. We made some chicken salad out of chicken shit last week. So I don't know if Scott, have you ever heard of that movie, FM? Yeah. Alex Karras, man. So that's what we did. I got together with Guy, and the thing I was going to say about Guy is he's performed a lot with Mike Matthews. One of his, he didn't tell that story that night last week. I was going to have him tell the story, but one of his favorites is jamming with Mike Matthews, right?
Right.
And he's up there just singing. Guy's just singing, right?
Yeah.
Mike has him on stage. So he's singing. He's really into it. Doesn't know Mike is jamming out right behind him, and he whips his head back.
Oh, Lord.
Conks, not even in the head, right in the mouth.
Oh, Lord.
Conks Mike right in the mouth. So anyway, that's one of his more embarrassing stories that I thought I'd tell everybody because you deserve to know. No, but Mike Matthews, amazing artist, and his band is amazing, and they are going to do the Hendrix thing.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So we're going to be doing some Woodstock era music. Sure. Tell me who we're doing.
Oh God, we're doing a lot of people. I'm pretty sure most of the music off the set was done at Woodstock. We've got the Who going on. We got a lot of Janis, a lot of Jefferson Airplane, some Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, a whole bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Really, really good list. And what was it interesting about the Who at Woodstock? Do you know? What was different about the Who than everybody else?
Shit, man, school me.
They got paid.
They got paid.
The Who got paid. Now, and then what? Here you go. Here's another one. What arena rock band had some artists starting out there that were huge in the 80s? Journey. Yeah, Journey. Journey had Neil Schon, and was playing in Santana at the time, and so then he came along and did the stuff. Michael Shreve was the drummer in Santana, and he ended up playing in an album with Sammy Hagar and Kenny Aronson, and it was Michael Shreve and who was the other one? HSA and Neil Schon. So they got back together after being in Santana, did that in the 80s. How about that? We just learned too much crap on this show. I got too much crap in my head. So we start every show with a lightning round, and then we'll get into all about this young lady. But this is going to tell you a little bit about her, too. All right, here's our lightning round. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Favorite band?
Car Seat Headrest.
Say it again.
Car Seat Headrest.
When did they start?
They've been putting out music for a while, but they're like a early 2010s type of band, or at least that's kind of when I got into them.
I was gonna say, how did you get into that?
I was an angsty middle schooler looking for angsty music, and
Angsty middle schoolers.
yeah, I came across one of the albums that I brought with me, and I've loved it ever since. I just really like their sound, and their lead vocalist is just really cool. I like everything they make.
I might have to ask you another question then too, on top of that then. All right. What was your first concert?
Oh God.
How young are you?
I'm 16.
You're still 16.
17 in July.
Oh, okay, it's coming.
It's coming.
All right, all right.
But my first concert, I'm pretty sure it was a tribute Pink Floyd band, but it wasn't El Monstero. It was like Aussie Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah. They play at the pageant.
Yeah.
Family Arena.
Family Arena.
Family Arena. Okay, yeah. Because I know I've seen them public television. They've been on public television. I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah, I liked them.
But when I was watching, it just seemed a little too good.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. There was that the same show that had like a Led Zeppelin tribute?
Yep.
That Led Zeppelin tribute was tragic.
Oh no.
No, they were. I'm so sorry to say it, but their vocalists just could not do that, like all those crazy runs and stuff. Ooh. When we got to the Pink Floyd, it was fantastic. But when we were sitting through the Led Zeppelin thing, we were all just kind of like, yeah, awesome.
So at least you got to the Pink Floyd stuff, and you're like,
sure.
okay, at least I made it through for a reason.
Yeah, no, it set the expectation here, but then Pink Floyd like brought it back up to here.
Tell me real quick about the Pink Floyd show. What kind of stuff did they play?
I think it was a lot of like the Dark Side of the Moon stuff, from what I remember. I was also like probably 11 or 12 when we went to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, well, that's true. I'm sorry. I should give you a little break there.
They pretty much jumped across the entire catalog.
Yeah.
Pulled one or two off of every album.
Okay.
Awesome show.
That is her father, Scott, speaking in the background with the sexy voice in the background. What was your first live gig?
My first live gig, well, the first thing I played was an open mic at a coffee shop in Newtown called The Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I'd taken guitar lessons maybe like twice at that point, and I just like forced my parents to take me to that open mic. Like they were both kind of like, "Are you sure you don't want a little more time to practice stuff?" And I said something to the effect of, "If you don't take me, I'm walking." So
wow.
So we ended up
throwing down the gauntlet.
Yeah, no. I played some song with like 3 chords in it, and I was real proud of myself. And then some really cool, like indie-looking teenagers, like were all very, very supportive of my stuff. And
that's cool.
I don't know. I think that them interacting with me and like hyping me up for the stuff that I was doing kept me doing it. I'm very thankful to have met those people. I haven't talked to them in a long time, but
really,
they were awesome.
Cool. Well, that's very nice. I was just talking with somebody, actually my students today, because I work at a school. I was telling my students, I said, never let anybody tell you that they're a self-made man or whatever it is.
They're not.
Because you can't do it alone, right?
Yeah, no, you need support, like wherever you're at, just to keep you like going with it, I guess.
And I'm trying to remember the gentleman that was in the video. This there's people out there that know this. Came up with the elements chart in the original form. Do you know who that is? She's still in school, folks, so she may know. But anyway, we're going through it in science class, and it's a really well-known guy. Anyway, he came up with the original chart of elements, right? But it was interesting in the documentary that they had. He was having a tough time, and all of a sudden, just like you were saying, with those people who were about your age, he had a gentleman stop over to the house, and I don't know what he said to him. They didn't talk about that, but all of a sudden, it lit a spark.
Yeah.
And he sat down after that person left. He sat down and he figured it out. There were still some changes to be made, but he figured it out. And who knows what that guy must have said? He might have said, "Dude, you got this." Yeah,
that might have been the difference between figuring it out and not.
Because he's sitting there all by himself, wigging out, except for his wife taking care of him and giving him food, and everything. So he didn't have to worry about that. She's like, well, if I wanted to make it, I got to do this. So you never do it alone.
Yeah, no.
So that's interesting. First song you learned?
I think, Smoke on the Water.
Really?
My
the classic?
brother, like he diddled around with guitar a little bit, and that was like the only thing that he ever really fully learned, and then he taught me. So that, and then Course with No Name, because you can play it with like the E minor and then just like it's 2 chords.
Yeah, right.
But you know, it was a start, and most of the stuff that I started out with was between like 2 and 4 chords, and they're all just like open, the most basic shapes you can learn. But it's a start.
Well, right. I mean, there's times where I'll get into a song and I'll be like, oh, I got to learn that song, and then you're like, oh, that okay, so that's all it is. It's just that.
Yeah, no. Sometimes you think something like sounds like kind of complex, and then you teach it to yourself, and you're like, oh,
that's
yeah, no, it's not bad.
I could do this in front of people.
Yeah.
Last question. Are you ready?
Mhm.
Here we go. In an animated movie of your life, what animal would best represent you? This is the intellectual question.
Yes, this is a make or break part.
It is. Thank you. I appreciate you realizing this.
I think a crow or just any type of bird would
Really?
work. Yeah. I don't really know why, but I feel like there's a certain like kind of like one track mind to like a bird, but they're also just like they seem kind of like ditzy is the only word I can think of. Or just like kind of
I was gonna say aware. I was really gonna pump you up, but
I mean, I don't know, just kind of like scatterbrained, but also like with a goal in mind, I guess. That's
they're
all
so wise and ditzy. I am fully aware and ditzy.
Yeah, yes,
Yes.
exactly. Like I can have fun, but like I know what's going on.
Oh, nice. Okay, I get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all good.
Yeah.
Now, I did ask a drink. I don't normally do that. Well, actually, I do, but normally it's beer. But I asked you to bring some of your favorite music with you.
Yes.
And do you want to get into that now, or do you want me to ask you a few more questions about yourself?
Up to you, whatever you're feeling.
Why don't you show me one of them?
Okay.
And we'll go from there. What's your first one?
I guess we'll talk about
Yeah, what's on
Pink
top?
Floyd. This is The Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, you got a picture disc.
Yeah, this was my dad's initially. We were talking about it in the car a
Sweet.
little bit. Yeah, no, he let me borrow it, and I started like geeking over it because I was like, "Oh, this is like from the 80s. Oh, this is
Yeah.
awesome."
Who engineered that? Do you know?
Let me check. It's manufactured by Capitol Records.
Well, right.
Right. I don't know what you're looking for.
Do you know?
I
I'm
don't.
asking Dad.
I don't.
No?
I would have to say Waters, but I would
No, Alan Parsons.
Oh, you know what? I did know that.
Yeah, Alan Parsons. You ever heard Alan Parsons Project?
Mm-mm.
So good.
I'll learn to
Go
do
ahead.
He'll hook you up. One of the very first places that they started was with the Tales of Mystery and Imagination. Edgar Winter. I'm thinking Stephen Winter.
right.
Edgar Winter. Edgar Allan Poe. So it's a brilliant record, and I would suggest that.
For sure.
Does this remain? How many Pink Floyd albums have you listened to?
I've listened to a few at this point, but I think this one's my favorite just because it's the most like coherent, I guess.
Yes,
because Pink Floyd
I get
was
it.
super like out there and
Yep,
experimental a
you're
lot
right.
of the time, and
Yep.
this one, I feel like just kind of like I don't know, you can kind of follow it easier than a lot of their other stuff.
You're
Their
right.
Other stuff's great, but
Yeah, I get it. I get it. You're right. Up to this point, you had metal and all the other things obscured by clouds, things like that were very intense in their mood.
Yeah.
But this one had some.
Saucer full of secrets.
There you go. See,
Intense.
there you go. There you go. And Ummagumma and lots of that stuff. But then this one, and then my favorite is Animals. Have you heard that one much?
I know I've listened to a little bit of it.
Yeah, do yourself a favor. Check it out again.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, that one really strikes, boom. I love this. And I there's other stuff that I really like too, but Animals remains my favorite. And so when did you get your start? I mean, you're 16. So when did you get started playing?
So I started out at that little coffee shop, and then I migrated to a different coffee shop.
And you were how young at that time?
I was like 12, 11?
I think you're 13.
13?
13?
Yeah. Okay. So around then, and I eventually migrated to Picasso's down on Main Street in like near me in St. Charles.
Gotcha.
And they had this like wonderful little open mic that they would do every Thursday night.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So and like everyone that would go there was just super like artsy and like cool, and like every one of those people could introduce you to some new like song or book or just something that you would enjoy.
Yeah.
So it was a super supportive environment, and everyone there was like, because I was like the youngest playing there, like everyone just kind of like took me under their wing and
I
they're
was
like, we got to
wondering about
protect
that.
this girl. Like,
That's awesome.
but yeah, no, from there, it was just kind of word of mouth, I guess. Like I would hop on stage with, like friends that I knew were doing music. Like
Mhm.
one of my old band directors did like live shows on the side, and I ended up finding him down on Main Street one night and hopping up on stage with them. And
Do you remember what you did?
oh God, I don't remember what we played. Him and I have played a lot of music together at this point, just
Oh, that's cool.
from me like catching him at shows and then being
Yeah.
like, Claudia, get up here.
Ah, good.
But like, yeah, no, I just kind of got my start like that, just having people like root for me and
Yeah.
like believe in what I'm doing and stuff, and kind of let me like sit in with them until
Yeah.
I could make my own and do that stuff myself.
Right. Now, have you started? Have you got written your own stuff?
Yes.
Okay. When did you start writing your own stuff?
Like as soon as I was able to play like coherently, I was writing.
Yeah.
My first couple of songs weren't great, obviously, but
Well, my first song was terrific.
Yeah.
So, you know,
but like
it's the only one I've ever written, and it better be okay because it's the only one I've ever written.
but like yeah, no, I started writing and I remember actively in my head being like, you can't write teenage girl music. Like I feel like you know what I mean when I'm saying that, just
Right.
kind of like shallow, like heartbreak and like that kind of stuff. Like I knew
Right.
that in my head consciously, like I wanted to be more like aware and talk about like bigger stuff in my music,
Okay.
even if it was just like emotions or whatever. I just wanted to be able to express that more like deeply and just in a
Right.
way that more people could relate to.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think at this point I'm a lot more comfortable with how I write.
Yeah.
But when I look at like stuff from like a year or two ago now, I'm
Mhm.
like, ugh. Even stuff from like last week, I'll just be like, oh, you can do better than that. I don't know what that is.
So you mean like in what way? In the rhyme or the meter or the subject matter or the phrasing?
It's like just kind of my lyrics in general. I've always been one of those kids that was like good at like English and stuff. Like I feel like everyone has like a niche subject in school that
Yeah.
they're good at, and mine was always English. So I'm really critical of how I write about stuff because I
Mhm.
know what I want something to sound like, and I know how I want to say something. But I
Yes.
can't always like find the words to do it initially. So it's just a lot of like workshopping and picking things apart and
Right.
just like being real hard on the stuff that I
Yeah.
write. But I want it to be like as good as possible. So it's worth the
Yeah.
struggle.
Yeah, it is. And the funny thing is we're talking again. I keep having to go back to you're 16
Yeah.
and you started writing stuff when you were a few years younger. So it's interesting to see that because you've been immersed in it, that you're already reflecting back. See, here I am now at my young age. And
24.
you thank you. I thought I had told you how old I was.
Yeah,
but
I remember.
I'm
of
glad.
course.
Wow, you remembered that. That's so special. I feel real special. But you know, I look back. I keep everything. My buddy Ron Keel gave me a call recently, and he's like, "Hey, do you have those lyrics? That you wrote?" And I was like, "Dude, that was like 10 years ago." I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, "You should keep everything." I said, "Dude, I do keep everything. It's somewhere. I just don't know where it is, right?"
Yeah.
But because I do keep everything, and I have my old stuff from high school,
Yeah.
and I'm looking back at it, and I'm actually looking at some of it going, well, this isn't horrible.
Right.
But you're right. I like phrasings or the way you get to a point, you're kind of like,
Yeah, no, sometimes you're just not hitting the nail on the head with
Yeah.
how you want to like tell something.
right. You're a little more. It's kind of the way I look at photography. Sometimes when you take pictures, you ever look at them later, and you're like, well, that's kind of the way everybody sees it. There's
Right.
nothing exciting about that.
Yeah, no, but like, and then sometimes you take a picture and it's like so specifically good, and you're just
Right.
like, this is a unique perspective.
Right. The angle, the perspective, right? So then that's the way I look at my lyrics, and I'm sure that's what you're talking about, where you're like, well, I would maybe say that now, but I'd say it like this. Let's
Yeah.
take that part and put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is it that you like about writing? Do you find it easy to write melodies and things like that?
I know for a fact I'm better with the words than like putting music to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's partially because I listen to a lot of like just very lyrical stuff or just stuff
Right.
that's very focused on
Right.
like the delivery of the lyrics as opposed to like what it sounds like. Um,
We have a visitor.
but I can come up with melodies. I notice that when I do that though, that they always sound like someone else, which I'm trying to get away from.
Right.
But like, yeah, no, I'm not great with melodies. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get better with it, but
Yeah. Well, you know what's really interesting too is do you ever listen to songs and you're like, well, that's from that song.
yeah, yes,
And you're like, all they did was just take that one little nugget from a song.
yeah, and I feel like that's the kind of difficult thing about writing because, like, technically everything that you're going to try to say or any way that you're going to try to present it has already probably been done, but it's your job to find like a Frankenstein's monster of stuff that is
Oh.
unique.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah, no, like art in general is just kind of putting pieces together from other stuff that you've seen and enjoyed.
Right.
But there's just like a fine line to walk between like making it your own, but like having influence and just kind of going off of the influence.
Right. Kind of makes me think of Andy Warhol in that way. You know, you're like everything the majority of stuff that we see from Andy Warhol over the years, we'd already seen it either on our kitchen cabinet shelf or on TV or in magazines, and all he did was just show us a different way to look at it. Right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Good point. Good call. You're bringing up some good points. So, so how many songs have you written then? Do you have a thought on how many you have?
If I had to like ballpark, I'd say in like just for stuff that I've written, I'm not saying that it's good, but like probably in like the like 40s or 50s for like songs that I've written and been like, this is done. But again, most of them are not like stuff that I'd be willing to be like, oh yeah, let me record this and put it out right now.
Right.
In terms of that, I've probably written like 10 or 15 at best, like songs.
Yeah, no, I get it. Because, and let me put it this way: I've had the experience to write with a buddy of mine. He's written some songs, and he played me some songs, and I said we can work with that. We can do this with that, and then I've added or altered here and there, and we've done some different things. But have you done that with anybody? Has anybody ever listened to something that you felt cool with sharing, and they're like, no, what if you did this?
I've tried to kind of get that feedback. I'm friends with like a lot of musicians and stuff, but the issue is when you're dealing with other musicians who are my age, it's just that a lot of the time they're very, very focused on their own work, which is totally okay because like they kind of have to be at that stage.
Right.
But sometimes when you ask for feedback from people who are kind of very focused in on their stuff, they start trying to make your thing their thing, and it just kind of clashes. Like, and I'm super down to get like feedback and stuff, and I'm actually recording an EP, and the producer that I'm working with has been like we've met up and talked once, and I played him a couple of the songs for it, and immediately he was like, "What if you added this? What if you changed this?" And like it was giving me genuinely helpful feedback.
Things that you feel are more attuned to,
just more focused on like making my piece better rather than like changing it.
Right. Good. That's cool. Was any of that like adding orchestrations or was it? So
far, his advice has mostly just been like kind of strengthening like chord progressions, just what I'm doing on guitar. Because again, the instrumentals that I write are kind of basic. I feel like it's enough for me to write what I think are like good lyrics on top of it, and then kind of flesh it out from there.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at anybody from We're Doing Canned Heat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
3 chords.
Again. 3 chords.
3 chords.
But the lyrics are good.
The lyrics are good, and it's the melody on top.
Yeah.
Right? Look at Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing. I mean, you come to now and, let's span the years. I mean, we're talking Woodstock days and we're talking now.
Yeah.
I mean, those are simple rhythms with a simple little bit of a melody line with her doing a melody line over the top.
Yeah. You can build up like really cool things from like a very simple instrumental, or you can have like a really simple melody with a really complex instrumental. And I feel like that's just kind of a preference thing. Depends on what you're trying to make.
Right. And let's think about some of those simple songs. I won't make you do that, but I can, because I already have one in mind.
Yeah.
One that and I drive Guy crazy with this band right here. Guy is not a Kiss fan, but there have been a couple of Kiss tunes, that he's like, yeah, okay, right. But one of them I brought to him was "Hard Luck Woman." Interesting thing for you. Do you know? I'll ask the millions of viewers and Father Scott. For whom was that song originally written? It was written by Paul Stanley. For whom? Anyone? Anyone? And we have Born Distracted is in tonight, and Blake's here.
Hi.
Thank you for saying hi. Yes, hi. It was originally written by Paul Stanley for Rod Stewart. And Peter Criss was like, hey, can I have a shot at that? And they did it. And then Guy and I were going to do it. And Guy kept getting frustrated because it's those simple songs where maybe the producer or maybe Paul Stanley thought about it this way too, that we have to do something different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you get into the first chorus, you do it this way, short or whatever, and then you do a little something. Then you make that chorus longer later to keep it interesting.
Right.
And if we think about Lick It Up, it's the same way. All these songs have something in them to unbore them.
Right.
Right.
Because like if you keep it straight the entire time, then like anyone who's listening to it can just be like, this is the same thing. This is very repetitive.
Unless you're Canned Heat.
Right.
I'm sorry. I can't
get away with
that song. How do you get away with that?
I don't know. But they get away with it. I like that song.
Is it just because of the quirky vocal?
Yeah, honestly, he sounds like a frog when he's singing. I like it.
And who doesn't love Kermit?
Yeah.
Kermit was he even around when that came out? I don't think he was around. Maybe because of them, he's around.
Yeah, no, they were actually borrowing Kermit for the vocals on that.
Hey Frank, why don't you do something like Canned Heat? How about that? I don't know. Round the road again. Yeah. And it's not easy being green.
It's not easy.
And you're wearing green.
Yeah.
Are your eyes green?
They're like blue.
They're like blue green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do that weird thing where they like kind of change color if I'm wearing something different.
See, yeah, she's morphing. You're morphing your eyes. What is your next album? Let's try that.
My next album is from the band I mentioned earlier, Car Seat Headrest.
Sweet.
Do a little.
Yeah, do a little. Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is just kind of like an alt rock album. I like read up on it a little bit just because I wanted to be able to have interesting conversation about it. But the album, their like singer Will Toledo was talking about it, and he said this album was from a point in my life where I wasn't like experiencing a lot of love, and you can hear that in the content. And
interesting.
And what he described was I use like writing records to get through phases of life.
Sure.
Like, so this one was like a very rough point for him. So he wrote the record to end that phase of his life and start a new one.
Get some closure.
Yeah. And their next album after this was like a lot more like electronic and like experimental. Like they just kind of went out of left field and something super different. But you could tell that it was more like upbeat and like, you can hear that he's in a better headspace.
Right.
It's very emotionally driven. You can hear a lot of that in the music for it.
And it's called Teens of Denial.
Teens of Denial.
Well, how many people are in the band?
I think it's a 3-piece.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Now, how many albums do they have?
They've got plenty.
Okay, but here's my question. This is the one that I told you I was going to hold on to it for a second. All right. Is this the only one you own?
I have 2 of their other albums.
Okay. I'd be eager to ask your dad. I also be eager to know out there too, and we'll check out some of these things that everybody's saying. Oh, look at that. There's my wife chiming in. That's so sweet. Don't
say pigeon, please.
Pigeon, please. Oh my Lord. Yes, it's Thor. Yes. Let's see. Nice Iron Maiden Killers poster there. Yes, right. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. I need to get some posters. Yeah, and I've got some new posters up here. Somewhere in Time would be a start. That's right. Did you ever look up like banners and stuff to buy on Amazon?
Of different bands recently because I want to like fill up my walls with posters.
Yeah.
They're kind of expensive.
They can be, but somewhere around. Sometimes you can get them around the 13 area. And a piece. You're right. I get it. Like I bought a Frazetta poster, 11 by 17. like $11-12. I'm like,
It's a poster, man.
it's supposed to be, dude, come on. And especially when I bought, I paid like $2 more for the Death Dealer from the Molly Hatchet's debut record. Oh, for those Frazetta paintings, the Death Dealer painting. I didn't even know he had like 7 of them. Anyway, I'm getting off point. One of my questions was, the reason I asked you about that too was because I was going to ask you and our millions of viewers and your dad even, is there a band for which you only had one record, but they were your favorite one of your favorite bands? Anybody, if anybody wants to chime in about that.
For a long time, it was like this band for this other album that I brought.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was this band, because this used to be the only vinyl from them that I had.
And who is this?
This is Neutral Milk Hotel, which is another weird little. This one's more like folky kind of stuff. Yeah. But I spent like 2 years trying to find specifically this album on vinyl because I'd listened to it so many times on like Spotify, and I just
how the heck did you get to that?
Was
there something that led you there
to finding this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, when you saw this, when you got heard this on Spotify, was there another band that led you to them?
I don't.
They have their recommendations and stuff down below.
Like when I found them, I was listening to a lot of like acoustic, like folky stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm sure that they just kind of came up. Oh no, wait, actually, my brother introduced me to this band. I got it. There we go.
There we go. Your brother's out there going, hey.
Yeah.
Right here.
But he told me about the song Holland 1945, which is one of the tracks on here, and he was just like, I think you'd like it.
What does it deal with?
This whole album is talking about like World War II.
Yeah.
It's super weird. Like, okay.
Because that's what my students are studying that in school.
Yeah. So the thing is, the singer for this band, Jeff Mangum, I think, he used to have like dreams that he had like a time machine, and he could go back in time and save Anne Frank. And he was like, I don't know if that's embarrassing or not, in some interview. And I was like, maybe a little bit, but like, do you? But
so specific.
He just had this like he just had this like crazy emotional attachment to like Anne Frank, and
wow,
this whole album is literally just about those like dreams that he had. It was just
that's incredible.
Him wanting to go back and like alter history, and he like, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure he was like straight up in love with Anne Frank. If like by the end of the album, I'm pretty sure he was just like straight up in love with that woman. It's so weird. Like the origin of it is so crazy, but the album itself is so beautifully written and put together. Like,
do you mind if I take a look?
Oh, go for it.
I was just wondering, what are the names of the songs are inside? I
think it has a sheet with it. I don't know though.
I'm just eager to know what the names of the tracks are. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I see the sheet inside.
I know that their lyric sheet is really weird.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Look at this, folks. This is gorgeous.
It's super cool.
That is beautiful.
It's like one of my favorite albums, like aesthetically, and just like all the imagery for it is beautiful.
So the songs you have are the King of Carrot Flowers Part 1, the King of Carrot Flowers Part 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's one
Not
song.
surprisingly. Not surprisingly. In the Aeroplane Over the Sea.
The title track.
Two-Headed Boy.
It's like my favorite one.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that right? The Fool. Holland 1945. That's the title track, right? Is that what you said? Or
the name of the album is In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. So that's the title
so
track,
that is okay.
Holland 1945 is what I started with.
Gotcha. Communist Daughter, Oh Comely, Ghost, and Two-Headed Boy Part 2. Wow. Produced by Robert Schneider. That's pretty cool.
It's a really awesome album.
I cannot wait to check this out. Wow. Neutral Milk Hotel.
Yeah, I can't explain the band name. I don't know why.
We should get them on the show then.
Oh, for sure.
Do you want to be in on that?
Yeah.
Do you want to come back and do the show?
Yes.
I'm serious.
Yes.
Okay. We've got another
100%.
guest for our show. We're going to do that. Neutral Milk Hotel. Yeah, I'm in. No, that's really cool. I cannot wait to tell my buddy about that. One of the teacher that's in the room next door to me tomorrow. That and a brilliant album cover.
Oh, for sure.
It's beautiful. I had a band growing up in 1978. Here they played the title track to their album, back in my hometown, they played a song called Loneliness by a band called Horse Lips. I know, right? They were originally going to be the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
But then one of their buddies was like, I don't know if it was a night they were drinking, and he goes, "Why don't you be the Four Pox of the Horse Lips?" And he's like, what? And they're like, wait, Horse Lips, we like that.
Yeah.
So then they drop the E. There's no E, it's just Horse Lips.
I like it.
They're a brilliant band. Here they also played one of the KC classics here in St. Louis was Sure the Boy Was Green. Well, and it's very Jethro Tull. Do you like Jethro Tull?
Don't know that I'm familiar.
I'll introduce
Yeah, that's good. That's why we're working together.
Yep.
You know, my oldest brother's name is Scott, you know, so we work like brothers. So no, they have some really, really cool stuff. One of my favorite records that I would suggest you start with is Songs from the Wood. It's like in the middle. It's right around 77 in that area. But Horse Lips was if anybody asked me what one of my favorite bands was, I'd say Horse Lips.
Yeah.
But the only record that I had was The Man Who Built America. And they had like 6 or 7 other albums besides that.
Sometimes all you need is the one, man.
Thank you, right? But it would always be one of my favorites. And they're like, really, what do you know by them? I don't know. And they were steeped in Irish traditional music. It was kind of wild. Kind of wild. So what's next for you? This past year has been a weirdo.
Yeah.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
And we're still in the midst of its weirdness.
Yeah.
But I hope we're coming out. I think
Fingers
they just
crossed.
had in a news report today that things are really bad in India.
Yeah.
It's really spiking. But what are you looking forward to for this summer? What do we got coming?
Well, I'm recording for that EP, which I'm really, really excited about.
I bet.
At this point, I'm excited about it halfway because it'll be my first like professional project thing. And also halfway because a lot of the music on it is stuff that people have been asking me to record since I wrote it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
to kind of be like a little weight off my shoulders to get those recorded and out so people can listen to them and I can write new stuff.
Yeah.
Because like I'm a little sick of them, but other people aren't.
Well, you know, the Rumors just came through and they played the Diamond Music Hall, and they're not playing things off of their first record. That one, I think they said maybe one song is still on their set list.
Yeah, like I mean, unless people are like asking me specifically for like this EP music at like live shows,
right?
Probably gonna not play it that often. Again, just because like at least 3 of the songs I've had written for like a year or more. So just from playing them out places and people talking to me about them, it's just like. You get a little sick of them after a while, man. It's the same with the covering stuff, I'm sure. Like, if you keep something in your set for so long, then you're eventually just going to be like, man, I'm burnt out.
Well, yeah. And, you know, that's the reason why Joe Perry left Aerosmith. He's like, if I got to play Dream On one more time, I'm the hell out of here. And there became lots of big problems, you know, and he left for a while. That was one of the reasons why. And then you have a lot of, where can we go and find your stuff? I'll put a link out here for do you have a site outside of Facebook or do you have a Facebook page?
For right now, I'm only really working off the Facebook page.
Okay.
But I use like other social medias, namely like TikTok, if you're on there. I know not everyone is.
Well, China owns it, so I don't know. It's one of those things. I mean, some people, they don't trust that stuff. I don't know, but.
And I've got
Shania Twain's on TikTok.
There's a lot of like big celebrities on TikTok. Like I'll be scrolling through and I'll be like, "What are you doing here, man?
This is my area.
Yeah,
I don't even know why you're
it's
here.
my turf." But yeah, no. Besides like Facebook and TikTok, I've got like 2 songs out on SoundCloud and YouTube.
Oh, good.
One of them I produced myself. That's not great. And there will be a better version of it on the EP.
Okay,
but
good.
There are 2 songs out right now.
Now, who all is working with you on the album? Is it all just going to be acoustic? You and the acoustic guitar? Or?
I'm hoping for a like 60s, 70s like rock and roll type of sound about stuff because I like writing and just playing an acoustic guitar when I'm singing by myself. But for the music that I'm writing, like I want a lot more for it, I guess.
Right.
So yeah, no, just like 60s, 70s kind of psychedelic rock and roll. And
cool.
I'm working with, oh gosh, his name's Paul.
Paul Mehouse.
What's his last name?
Mehouse.
Niehaus?
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how to pronounce his last name, but I'm working with him on it, and he, like, as soon as I started playing in my stuff, he seemed like super eager about working on it with me and genuinely like excited to make the project.
Yeah.
And that's been the hardest part of trying to find a producer, because like I've talked to people before who aren't interested in letting me know like how much I'm supposed to pay. They're just interested in like showing me their studio and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, I get it. Like, you can record my stuff. That's why I'm here.
Right.
But yeah, no, I can tell that he's like very passionate about the projects that he works on. I'm excited to work with them.
Cool. Now, is he going to do some of the other instrumentation that you're going to be working with then too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the setup kind of is I'm going to record like guitar and vocals, and then I'm going to let him kind of play around with it.
Right.
Because his niche is kind of that 60s, 70s thing from what he's talked to me about. I'm going to let him kind of play around with other instrumental stuff for it, and then we're going to go in together once he's done that and kind of pick things apart. And he's going to let me be all critical of what he does and change it up. But yeah, no.
You're looking forward to that, or you kind of like nervous?
I mean, I'm always nervous to like critique like another musician on anything, because I understand that it's like hard to do, and also if you're like writing like an instrumental or something, that's something that you made, and like you deserve to be proud of that.
Right.
But also it's my EP.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Which sounds like
I know. It's a tough call, isn't it?
Right.
It's not the easiest thing.
Because ideally I would just let people make whatever noise they want to make and just be like, that's beautiful.
Right.
But I got like I have an idea for what I want my stuff to be, and got to find people who are willing to kind of adapt and work with me on that.
Yeah, that's outstanding. And then you're thinking do you think a few sessions and you'll be done?
We're gonna, like, this first session that we're doing is gonna be from like 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and we're gonna just get through as much as possible.
Right.
So ideally I'd be able to record at least just vocals and guitar all in that same day.
Gotcha.
And then I'll give him like X amount of time to kind of poke around at stuff, and then go back in for probably that same stretch of time and clean stuff up and polish it, and then just let him mix and master it, and then boom, EP.
And then magic. It's all magic. That's what it is. Let me see what this last one says here, and you might have to help me. I don't know. I can see this far, but
when you're thinking about collaborating with someone, what is your criteria to make it happen with whoever it is? Good question.
Yeah. That's our Born Distracted. Love them. And look at this cat. Kind of reminds you of mine, right?
Yeah.
Who did you notice? My cat is over there hanging out with you, dude.
Oh, is he just chilling over
there?
He's
just chilling on that.
Sound asleep.
Yeah. To hell with having him comfortable. I gave him an ottoman so he could put his feet up. The cat's using it. I told you, he's a dick.
But on the collaborating with people thing, I don't know that I have very tight criteria at all. Like, it's mostly just if someone is willing to play with me, then we'll try it out. Like, I'll give like anyone a shot, like playing with them. It's after we play together that I know if we like mesh well.
Right.
Because there's just like a chemistry that either happens or doesn't happen when you're playing with someone. And if it doesn't happen, then you're not going to make great stuff. But if it is there, then you are going to make great stuff.
Right. And we had a lot of fun doing some stuff at the jam.
For sure.
Immediately, I just try to make people comfortable and have fun. I've
always felt like you and I had like good energy on stage and stuff. Mostly just because you'll like look over to me and be like, and I'll look over to you and be like, hell yeah. We're just both getting into it.
We're just feeling it.
Yeah.
You're two people that are just feeling the music.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is a rock show. You do realize this right now.
Yeah.
So, I dig playing. And I appreciate you playing and having me play on Thursday. And that's why I got to work my butt off to make sure I'm ready to roll. So this young lady puts My Generation on the list, right? And I'm thinking, My Generation, that's cool. Awesome. Fantastic. I have 4 little bass solos in there. I mean, I am who I am. I'm not going to downgrade myself, but I got some work cut out for me, and Twistle is, I got a magazine back there with his picture on it. So there's a reason he was on magazines, and I'm not on magazines. I'm not even on a bubblegum card. So which is better? Which one do you think would you rather be on, a bubblegum card or a magazine?
I don't know. That one's kind of up in the air. Because, like, if you're on a magazine, they could end up in, like, a supermarket and people just look at it and they're like, eh. But if you're on, like, a gum thing, then someone just opens it and you're like, why are you here? I think I like that one more just for, like, surprising people.
Well, at least if you're on a bubblegum card, you're there because people are looking for pictures of people like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you're like, yeah, I'm in my, this is where I live. On the magazine, you're right. You're on the store shelf and you're like, everybody's looking at that.
Right. You're next to like a bunch of like weird tabloids.
Right.
Just,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't need weirdo headlines anywhere around my picture. You know, unless like, you know, it's on Bass Player magazine and then like it's, you know, I'm on the cover and then it says Billy Sheehan's name on it and it's got
that's
Jack
fine.
Bruce on it. And I'm like, yeah, no, I do belong there. I don't, but I could if I worked hard and I was a real boy. Remember last night I said I'm a real boy. So well, great. So we look forward to Thursday nights.
For sure.
And I look forward to talking to you more about these bands and writing this stuff down when we're done.
Yeah.
Be sure and check these out. Let's check out our last thing from Blake. I'm watching Conan the Barbarian movies.
Not the sucky remake.
Not the sucky. Did you see the sucky remake? Anybody?
No.
Oh, yeah, don't. I wish Ronnie James Dio was in those movies.
I remember that.
Ronnie swinging that sword like in his video. Yeah. Those 80s videos. Oh my God. You know, we do Screaming in the Night. Have you ever seen this? Crocus. Have her check it out. I'll send you the link. I can do that. We're friends. I can do that. But it was bad. So bad. Not as bad as Journey though. Journey's Separate Ways. When they're all like air playing and then all of a sudden the instruments show up later and you're like, oh my God. And one of the best interviews, check this out too, folks. Van Halen, when I got married, Van Halen was on their Monsters of Rock tour. My cousin, who I just lost, gave up tickets for that show to be at my wedding.
Damn.
But he did haul ass back home to go see David Bowie. Right?
Yeah.
You got to do that.
For sure.
Know? Monsters of Rock, okay, these guys are going to be around a while. But Bowie, as my friend would say, Bowie, you know, if you're going to catch that, he did the right thing. He did the right thing.
Yeah.
But they have a video out there. You can check it out on YouTube. It's out there. It's the Monsters of Rock special that they did on MTV. Okay. So Blake, go and check that out. The hell with Conan, go and check that out. But it's got a great interview with Dokken. And Mick Brown, their drummer, is talking about making videos and how ridiculous it is. He's like, okay, all right, so you're going to be firemen and you're going to go do this. Then, okay, we're going to put you in a bear suit and you're going to go around. You're like, oh my God. It was ridiculous, the things they made them do. So be thankful we don't have to do that. Although MTV is a piece of shit now. But so anyway, they should just call it MS now. There's a music shit is what they ought to call it. Excuse me. But anyway, that's really what they should. So anyway, we look forward to Thursday nights. I'm looking forward to it. I got my work cut out for me.
You're gonna do great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Because I'll tell you a story later. Not a failure story. It's a funny story.
Success story.
Not a success story. I can't go that far.
Just a funny story.
It's just a funny story.
Cool.
A funny story about you got this. Or Guy's line is, what the hell does he say to me? You'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
That's what Guy always says. You'll be fine.
Sometimes that's your downfall, man. If someone's like, you'll do fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Or when people have these weird ideas that you've played songs before. We're getting ready to. I was sitting in with Guy one night, and he says his son looks at him, who is one of St. Louis's great drummers, Joe Kingsbury, one of St. Louis's great drummers. He's behind the kit. He and I are sitting in. He says to his dad, I hear him go, War Pigs. Okay, so you've done War Pigs with me, right? So now I do an okay job with it, but I'd never played it. I'd been to Guy's house, and we jammed in his garage. Right? And he goes, you played it before at my house. I go, dude, no. I found 2 chords in that song the whole time, but I did not play that song. And he goes, you'll be fine. That's where it started. You'll be fine.
And
No, I was a deer in the headlights is really what happened. The whole rest of the time I'm out there rocking, throwing the hair like you've seen.
Yeah.
Not that song.
it's just stiff as a board.
Yeah, my friend's like, I can't believe you look like a deer in the headlights. I'm like, I felt like one that had been hit. I felt like one on the side of the road is what I felt like. So the only headlights were hitting dead eyes. So, hey, everybody have a great rest of the week. I'm going to talk to these two lovely people and see if maybe there's a way I can stream some of the show to you guys on Thursday. So that would be our first live feed, if it's possible.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, would it be cool? Would that be all right?
Absolutely.
Think that's all right? Okay. Well, I'll work it out. I'll put it out here. You'll have a link to go on the YouTube Go Game Go channel. In the meantime, Miss Claudia Rose. And we're really looking forward to it. So great time tonight. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't wait to have you back for their show.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And we'll work on that. So, hey, everybody, take it easy and have fun. Rock on. See ya.